I think it's time for something new today, chat. Today, it's Drama Monday on a Tuesday and probably uploaded to YouTube on like a Friday. I don't know. So what was happening, chat, is I was scrolling through Twitter, as I am wont to do, and I stumbled across something that I found so unbelievably dumb that I had to talk about it. I'm going to show you something. Do not avert your eyes. Have you seen this thread? Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. I read through it and I took my glasses off. I looked at Rochelle and I thought there's no truth or justice in this world. I'm glad that like there was a lot of ratios of it. Is it bait? Is it? It doesn't seem like bait. It feels like it's not bait because I read through it all. If it is bait, they went through so much time that it's not even worth it. People are saying it has to be. I don't think it is. I think people hate fighting games. TLDR, this person made a thread, a rant, that even if it's fake, is something I think is fun to talk about why they think that fighting games are categorically bad. All right, it has to be said. Fighting games are categorically bad. A bold statement. This is the Trump style of tweet that I love. In fact, I want to write this down. In fact, editors, if we do make this a video, the title needs to be Fighting Games Are Categorically Good. They're so unenjoyable. They all are pure brain poison that punishes you for missing an arbitrary 50-button combo and has the single worst character movement of any video game genre. Every movement button either completely changes your moves or gets misread. Now, I do think that it's not bad. Let's talk about this one at a time. The movement is simple, but simple doesn't necessarily mean bad, right? The fact that in Street Fighter, all you have is walk forward, walk back, dash forward, dash back, jump up, jump diagonal, jump back diagonal. That's it, right? That's the whole movement. Imagine making a non-platformer game where jumping side to side is the most precise way to get around. Vomit face, and God help if you want to attack and move. True. 0 people are actually capable of the kind of perfect input required to do anything outside of button mashing while relying on visual cues. You either spend hours non-stopping practicing perfect inputs to get the timings right, or button mashing in all but name. Okay, maybe kind of true. I think that 50-button combos was kind of like cringe, but like, yeah, fighting games require a lot of practice, right? And it does come down to like reacting to stimuluses. There's visual cues, there's audio cues. It doesn't have to be near perfect at all. Practice makes perfect in everything you do, right, Mophead? You can practice making tea and you make the best fucking tea in the world. No one is actually good at fighting games. Now that's crazy. They've just learned the order of buttons they should hit for whatever one character they've locked themselves into in the game and hit it over and over as fast as possible and claim victory defeat. Now, this is the first one that made me think maybe this is bait because this is the most absurd part of it. No one does that. This does seem like someone who has either never played a fighting game or is making a joke. No one is good at fighting games. They learn the order of buttons. Could you imagine? You know, Bobby Fischer said that is why he kind of disliked the way chess was going towards the end of his career, was because he felt like chess just became memorizing the openings. Piano experts aren't only good at hitting the keys in the right order, unless you're a jazz musician. And that's probably the worst aspect design-wise. It is unfathomable to me that an entire genre of game exists where the selling point is the amount and diversity of playable characters, but playing any more than one of them at any point reduces your gameplay to spray and pray. So let's cut out the spray and pray here. Oh, it says she, her pronouns? Got it. I was just saying they to be safe. Before spray and pray, let's cut out spray and pray. Isn't it kind of the worst aspect design-wise? And then you get to separate casual from, like, top-level play. That they do create all these characters for fighting games. Specifically, let's look at Smash Bros. Ultimate. And it's like, wow, you can play any character from your favorite games. But if you're trying to be good, learning multiple characters is almost exclusively bad. That's interesting. That's very interesting to me. What's fun about playing a fighting game based on a certain universe like Street Fighter is that I like these characters. This is coming to it from a really casual perspective where I like the characters. Think of it as more Overwatch. Like a lot of these arguments I actually think would go really well for Overwatch, right? It's like, hey, you should really just get good at Genji or Tracer, right? If you're splitting time, you're not going to be as good. Yeah, characters do have crossover, but it's not one-to-one. And they address that. They say that the crossover is what makes characters boring because they have to crossover for your time to not be wasted. And that's where we start to think this is a real thread because that's a bone to pick with fighting games. Characters have to be similar so that they're not just completely different games between characters. But if they're similar, they're not really that diverse, right? It's the opposite in Overwatch. You need to learn multiple characters to be actually good. I completely disagree. I 1,000,000,000% disagree. I will say that I am a co-owner of an Overwatch League team, and I watched the leaderboard, and one tricks, you get good at the game by one tricking. 99.999% of the time. And then at the top level, like, yeah, it's good to have multiple characters. But honestly, most Overwatch teams have just got character specialists at this point. I would say that the casual fan or a person who just picks up a fighting game to mash is interested in watching Goku fight Frieza in DB Fighters, right? And they don't care about Sonic Fox fighting these other people, right? That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. Compare that to racing games, which also have the prime selling point of the amount and diversity of usable vehicles, but the skills associated with each one viably transfer out to any other vehicle build. Spending time with a certain build obviously makes you better with it, but switching between vehicles isn't literally certain to handicap your ability to play at the same level, the way that switching between fighters does in any fighting game. She loses the plot a little bit here, I think, because I think it's very comparable. Isn't it analogous that switching cars is like switching fighters? And that the diversity of cars isn't actually that diverse because no matter what, you're hitting the gas, you're hitting the brakes, and you're turning? Personally, I don't enjoy fighting games. It's just not something I enjoy. I can still appreciate the art and watch a Smash fight and think, damn, they did good. Yeah. I think, here's the thing about the internet, boys and girls. There's no room for nuance whatsoever. Something is either literally the greatest thing to ever happen to mankind or literally Hitler. So this person's just going out there. This person probably just doesn't enjoy fighting games. Or a person who would make this thread in good faith is just saying, I don't get the hype behind fighting games. But to get some likes and retweets on Twitter, you have to say that fighting games are the most dog shit thing to ever come out of video game production. And this is a genre-wide problem. Mortal Kombat, Soul Calibur, Smash Bros, etc. Fighting games either have diversity among characters and suffer gameplay-wise, or are incentivized to make all characters play similarly. For example, Alien from the Alien movie and game franchise could be the absolute coolest character in any fighting game, but instead, in Mortal Kombat, it's just a humanoid bipedal fighter with a tail. I think this is a reasonable argument. I think this is absolutely reasonable. But what I would say is that the diversity among characters does not make the gameplay suffer. I think characters can be absolutely brazy bears. What's the game? Like Skullgirls? There's some characters that do some weird shit in that game that are very different, that have skill sets that don't transfer. And that makes it cool. I think if Alien played differently than every other character in Mortal Kombat, that would be badass, right? Wouldn't you think that'd be badass? I don't care if spending time grinding Alien didn't transfer over to fucking Zangief, or a different game, to Liu Kang, or to Raiden, or to any of those people. I think that's totally fine. In fact, I think Skullgirls is just a great example of it, of every character being very different. They had to make it, Alien, play similarly to other characters for gameplay to be viable, which sacrifices all the coolest potentials of adding a literal xenomorph to the game while making its moveset as dull and arbitrary as any other, but with cool graphics. Fair argument. Fair. It's so frustrating that there's no way to make a fighting game with diverse characters without having the act of playing any character over your main completely compromise gameplay. Fighting games are just categorically unfixable in terms of game design and balance. See, I just think this is completely untrue. I do agree that it's impossible to make a game where playing another character besides your main doesn't compromise gameplay, because you're going to be worse with that character, but I don't think that makes the game unfixable in terms of game design and balance. There's also no problem with only playing one character in a fighting game, because all of this hinges on the premise that a fighting game is interesting because of the diversity and cast of characters, when that is not true at all. In fact, Dive Kick is a game. There's no diversity whatsoever in Dive Kick, and I think that can be very fun. It can be fun to try and play the mental game between competitors. This is where it gets really funny. Not one adult has even a single healthy relationship with another human being and enjoys playing fighting games. The first true thing she said. I think that if you enjoy playing fighting games, you gotta screw loose. I hate fighting games, and I play them because I'm a psychopath. It's bad. This is how I discovered the thread. Someone retweeted this, and I thought, so true, dude. Fighting games are so absolutely cringe. You could replace fighting games here with chess and StarCraft. If you enjoy playing a very challenging 1v1 game, I think you have a screw loose. I cannot even comprehend. It's so hard. You can't blame anyone for your mistakes. That's why games like MOBAs came out, because everyone doesn't want to play very hard StarCraft. People want to be able to blame other things. No matter what happens, all that matters is you are worse. In fact, I played a couple games of chess this morning as I was thinking about this concept, and I was mauling, and I'm not on stream. I'm sitting here thinking this guy's a fucking loser. He knows every fucking opening. He knows how to checkmate me with this, and oh, he sees everything. This guy doesn't make any mistakes. He's playing perfectly on book. And I'm thinking like, why am I subjecting myself to this? I hate this. This is so unfun. And then I queued up for another game. And I thought I'm a psychopath. But the movement in fighting games, tons of faces vomiting. Holy shit, it's so bad. Trying to control where a character is in a fighting game is like throwing your shit in an industrial-sized fan while getting hit by the backblast of an RPG while hanging upside down. It's so funny to think about that when thinking about real microspacing. Not even Melee. Like, Melee movement is beautiful outside of microspacing, but I also think that almost every fighting game has beautiful footsies, right? Am I in range of a move for them? Can I punish a move that they do from this distance? Where should I be moving? I truly think that it's beautiful. I don't want to play it, but I like it. The best I've seen is either Dragon Ball's flying or Soul Calibur's 3D dodging. Any genre where the highest quality games are Dragon Ball and Soul Calibur doesn't deserve the embarrassment of existing. Damn, dude. Weeb's maulding. That's such a funny quote, too. Any genre where the highest quality games are Dragon Ball and Soul Calibur doesn't deserve the embarrassment of existing. God damn, that's so funny to me. Like, for fuck's sake, fighting in Dragon Ball is a chore and shouldn't even be considered fighting as much as chasing in circles. And if you play Smash, you're honestly just a pedophile. Straight up. That shit is so weird to me. It's an inconsistent mess of characters from different universes with zero attempt at game balance that requires hundreds of hours of practice per character to get any enjoyment. Looking at you, chat. Smash players? Smash players? Meanwhile, it has like, what, 50 characters? I don't even know because it's so fucking boring that I never waste my time paying it attention. It should be a crime to market it game on its range of characters, a game on its range of characters, while having that kind of necessary per character time investment. Like, Jesus fucking Christ, if you actually know the down B for every Smash character, I seriously hope you see a therapist. For your own sake and for the sake of the 9-year-olds who these games are made for. Damn, that's so funny too. The best part is that I agree with none of the arguments besides maybe the diversity of characters, like not being diverse enough because they want to make them similar so that the skill set crosses over. But I think it's so funny to think of someone screaming that if you know the moves in Smash Bros, you're upset. Yeah, hate the argument, love the delivery is a perfect example. If improving skill at fighting enemies in video games is the enjoyment someone is looking for, Dark Souls or even Batman Arkham Knight. Spelling Knight wrong here makes me think this is bait as well. Or any Spider-Man game is infinitely less rage-inducing and requires way less time investment. I can't imagine getting the same enjoyment out of fighting enemies in a single-player game as a multiplayer game. In fact, I played Arkham Knight for about 5 minutes, and Rochelle came in and I was like beating some ass with Batman, you know, like punch, punch, kick, kick, grappling hook, grapple, throw a guy over, fucking shoot him in the head. And Rochelle's like, oh, damn. And then she looked at my controller, and I'm sitting here mashing X. And I'm just mashing X. And she goes, that's how you play the game? And I went, yeah, I'm like fighting these guys. And she goes, since then, I've never played another single-player game like that. Any fucking hack and slash masher, I don't play them because Rochelle embarrassed it out of me. She does have a point. In the moment, I was truly identifying as Batman. I was saving Gotham by fucking up these street thugs. And then I realized that I'm just like one of those birds with water in his butt, and I'm just slowly dripping the water, hitting my sugar. I'm obviously just raging out over the ones and zeros. I don't like at this point, but I'm actually mind-blown that anyone would spend their time in shitty fighting simulators when they could be playing a game with more control over the fights and other content. Like, even Watch Dogs is more fun to me, and those games are ass. But at least when I press a button, I know what it does, and it does it consistently and predictably. I don't understand that, because I feel like in games like Watch Dogs, or specifically in Red Dead, everyone likes Red Dead, right? Everyone creams their jeans over how much they like the new Red Deads. I'm not talking about Revolver, because Red Dead Revolver is one of the greatest games ever made, and we're not talking about that because we know it's goated. I'm talking about Red Dead Redemption, and then the newest Red Dead game. Red Dead Redman. I feel like no matter what I hit, the game did not do what I wanted. If it was trying to move the camera, maybe I'm just not good at controllers because I'm a boomer now, but I could not control the camera. I could not control the guns. I couldn't get on my horse 90% of the time. I feel like the controls were so unfun and I literally didn't know how to do anything. But when I play a fighting game, if you hit medium kick, you're going to get a medium kick, you know? If you hit heavy kick, you're going to get a heavy kick. It's like, what? If you do a DP, you're gonna, you know, the movement, you're gonna do a dragon punch. That's so easy. I cannot imagine coming home and thinking, oh, I know it sounds like fun, trying to win a competition based on my ability to reproduce a 50-button sequence completely from muscle memory. I do agree with this. That's the reason I would never want to play like Marvel vs. Capcom. Even though Marvel vs. Capcom, from a visual and sound basis, is the most interesting fighting game to me. I love it. I like the universe of characters. I like all the people in it. I like the sounds and songs. I like the support moves, bringing in a friend. It's just cool to think that I am Storm and I'm going to call in the fucking Hulk to do a thing. Or even games across, like I'm Ryu and I call in whatever. I think it's so cool, but I just don't want to try and learn an infinite. You know what I mean? I'd rather just blast my mind with Xanax and build a house in Minecraft. LMAO. Now, this is a good tweet. I need to save this. This is raw, and this is correct. You know what I'm saying? This could be tweeted by anyone at any time. No matter what the context is. Oh, man, school starts next week. I'd rather just blast my mind with Xanax and build a house in Minecraft. Lamau. Oh, man, we only got a $600 tax refund instead of a $2,000 or stimulus package. I'd rather just blast my mind with Xanax and build a house in Minecraft, Lamau. You always just end in either a grab/throw spiral or bouncing up and down like a piñata without any control of your character whatsoever. How is that fun? Even for the Sweatlord Cheeto Man doing the juggling, how is that fun? I can 100% tell how it's fun. Have you ever played basketball against an actual child? I will say there's almost nothing more pure and fun in the world than playing basketball against a small child. You control everything. You are literally their god at that moment. They will never win, no matter what. They cannot physically win. They do not have the skills or the body to beat me. They just have no control. And so that's how it feels. Being on the winning side is fun. I like winning in chess. I like winning in fighting games. I hate losing in them. When I regain control of my emotions, I'm going to look over this thread again and try to psychoanalyze and synthesize the reasons I hate fighting games into a coherent message. Might even write a Medium article, LOL. That makes me think it's bait as well. Last post in this thread is a genuine plea. Can someone tell me one reason to play a fighting game over a racing game or Call of Duty Zombies or any 2+ player platformer or co-op RPG? I mean, obviously, we're all here. Most people in my community like playing fighting games or at least playing some form of Smash Bros. We think that there are merits to the fighting game genre, and we think that this whole thread was malarkey. That's what Joseph Biden would call it. I would rather rip off my fingernails than be told that I can only play Gran Turismo for the rest of my life. That's so unfun. I would rather drive like a Toyota Corolla around my city in real life. Yeah, Trackmania is hype because it's like arcade. I like arcade racing games. I just don't like sim games. Tweet this entire thing. That would actually be so funny. Speaking of performance art, I should just copy every tweet.